facilities on fire and huge gas tanks blowing up. I mean, Japan might as well have Godzilla stomping around right now, swinging his tail into buildings. I mean, Godzilla couldn't do this in an hour. I mean, this is devastating. Look at it. I got it on screen right now. Refineries just on fire. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Man, this is off the charts right now. And so many Americans are giggling and laughing about it like it's a spectator sport, disconnected from reality. And I'm not even saying those poor people are bad folks. It's just that we've been so disconnected that people have lost their empathy to a certain extent, where I guarantee you Americans are out there right now, and I've already seen some evidence of it, just kind of looking at this in awe like it's a spectacle. And I guess you can't judge them. In a way, it is. I mean, I saw a lot of New Yorkers, even the day of 9/11, who weren't actually hurt in it, kind of smiling and laughing and excited and like it was a football game or something. But I'm thinking about all the people in there dying, all the babies, little kids right now trapped, squealing for their mommy. Mommy's trapped under rubble a few feet away, watching their baby bleed to death right now. I mean, I'm envisioning and mapping what's going on in there, and I got kids, and it's freaking me out. So I'm actually feel like I'm about to throw up thinking about it, because I have system spectrum analysis understanding. It's not even hard. You know, I told Charlie Sheen, and I'm going to your calls, just 3 days ago, I said, this is what's going to happen. I said, a crazy person isn't going to make it through that front gate up there and the security guards in your neighborhood, one of the most elite in Beverly Hills. I said, I have envisioned somebody's going to come through the back, climb up the probably 1,000-foot brush hill with a GPS and come over your back fence. That happened last night. I said, I envision all these people you let in your house who watch television. They've been pre-programmed. I said, I'm not bragging, folks. This is my understanding. I mean, this is really common sense. I said, you got that Sharps rifle framed on the wall from a movie. It's a plugged movie replica, and it's got some fake Sharps rifle shells. You've got people that watch TV where it's set in dramas based in New York where they find a gun in somebody's house and they go to jail for it. I go, people call the police on veterans all the time because they see them putting a gun in their car to go deer hunting. I said, you're not supposed to have guns because of this restraining order. And he goes, we don't have guns. And I said, I know. But I said, you're going to have some control freak in your house who thinks you could have a toy gun, they'll call the cops. I said, so that's going to happen. You're going to start having people climbing over the fence and the gates because you're the #1 news story in the world. Right now, he's still as big or bigger than the tsunami. Shouldn't be. He thinks it's sick and is making jokes about it, you know, about the fact that he's bigger than the Gaddafi thing right now. So Charlie thinks it's crazy. He says, why are the fluoride heads into this? I told him that was going to happen. I told him they'd start trying to commit him. That's now starting. And he's not crazy. He's wound up, angry, drinking a lot of coffee, off drugs, so he's bouncing off the walls. He's a little manic, but that's not crazy. You know, they call little boys raising their hands too much and wanting to wrestle on the playground mental illness now. They've got dozens and dozens of mental illness designations if you don't trust authority and government. I mean, Thomas Jefferson would have been locked up. But point is, I don't just know how to analyze what's happening geopolitically. I can analyze people individually. By the way, any of you could do this if you were tuned into reality. Here, okay, let's go to Sheldon in Japan, then I'm going to go to some Twitter questions. But let's just pray this reactor doesn't melt down, and that a chain reaction, 6 reactors could go off. I mean, let's pray. And don't think prayer doesn't have an effect. Now, it could be God's will, but don't think they're in divine providence that God can work through people to throw themselves into the equipment, to give them the understanding to get those emergency pumps working. This coastal plant got hit by a tsunami. Again, a country that has giant earthquakes, giant tsunamis. You know, the old-timers there built their houses out of paper because of this, because they didn't like them falling on them. That's the big cause of death. What a building code. You know, they figured it out. And you got a big concrete steel containment unit on the coastline. Most of the reactors are on the coast. Does that make sense? They got a level 4 bioweapons lab in a level 2 containment. That just means glass doors. In Galveston, Texas, where hurricanes hit. I mean, you know, it's just... but then the government's got to stick their hands down my pants because a terrorist might blow up an airplane. You got a better chance of being struck by lightning or dying by a bee sting, but I got to give up all my freedom. So federal goons, it's nothing to do with it. It's a federal takeover. U.S. delivers coolant to Japanese nuclear power plant. And I'm going to the Japan call here. I'm going to skip this break. But put the other article you just had up about U.S. military standing by. That's important, too. Let's go to Sheldon in Japan. Sheldon, sorry, I'm ranting. Where are you in Japan, Sheldon? What are you seeing?
I'm actually in Osaka, Japan, the same as James, which is kind of far from the epicenter. It's like about the distance from San Francisco to Los Angeles, to put it into context. But, you know, I was here at about 2:46 p.m., and, you know, my whole apartment just started shaking. I'm on the third floor here. And even though I'm that far away, it was still basically the most powerful earthquake I've felt since I've been here. I've been in.
Are you north or south of Tokyo?
Oh, I'm south of it. I'm in the western part of Japan.
Which way is the wind blowing this season?
The season, well, basically, usually it comes over the mountains, comes down south in Osaka anyways.
So you are south of Tokyo, so you're going to be in the fallout zone if that reactor blows up. Are you concerned about that?
Yeah, you know, it is a big concern, basically, but, I mean, I'm kind of desensitized to it all because of all the, basically just the constant onslaught of all the materials we have in the sky, the chemtrails, all that. Well,
let me tell you, this is going to be uranium and high-powered. I'm not trying to scare you, but do you have potassium iodate?
No, I do not believe I do.
No, we haven't had that sponsor in years. We should. I've got every medicine cabinet in my house has got it. If there's now I don't want to give medical advice out and get people sick here, but you need to look up alternatives to potassium iodate. There are a few other things you can usually find at a drugstore quickly that are in the iodine family, but I don't remember the specifics, so I'm not going to get into it. In an emergency to fill your thyroid, because see what happens is if you absorb that uranium-236, 238, and other isotopes, because when it melts down, it mixes with things in the surrounding environment and throws off all sorts of horrible miscreant variants of it. You got to fill your thyroid ahead of the radiation hitting you. And again, are they on the news there telling people to get to government emergency facilities handing out the potassium iodate?
No, not really, no. Like, in this part of the country, they're not really doing much other than, you know, they're playing it on every news channel. But they're not really, there's no, like, feeling of, you know, fear, basically, you know.
So in a nuclear-powered country,
and just going around it.
In a nuclear-powered country, they don't tell everybody to have potassium iodine.
No, not at all. They don't tell anything, basically. Yeah, I mean, here the culture is really kind of, you know, just be quiet and don't cause any trouble. You know, that's really the culture of Japan. So no, there's no basically in Japan they have a saying, "Don't be the nail that sticks out," because that's the first one to get hit. So everybody just kind of you know, does what they're told, basically.
Yeah, I have a saying, every nail should stick out, and then they can never hammer us all in.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, listen, Sheldon, I appreciate you calling. So you're south of the fallout right now if it blows. Boy, let me tell you, that is not a good thing. Well, do you have a gas mask?
No, I do not have a gas mask. All I have, basically, when the earthquake actually hit, you know, all I was thinking was to grab my gold, because I've bought some gold here, and I want to actually just have that on me in case I had to run from the apartment. Because it was actually at that moment that the earthquake was strong enough that I'm not trying to scare you.
I'm not trying to scare you, but if that reactor melts down, everybody's going to start running. If I was you, I would study the winds. I'd get online, pull up they'll have the exact winds right now, what they're forecast for in the next week. And then I would make a decision to go not north, because it might blow and then you'll be in the way of the tsunami. But, you know, whichever way the winds probably aren't going, or behind a mountain range, you know, wherever you can go away from those winds, just as a precaution, buddy. And of course, again, if it actually blows, everybody's they're gonna tell folks to shelter in place, but people still run. If I was you, I know there's a mountain range up the middle. I would try to study those winds and get on the other side of the mountain range, or go further south or down to the tip, because it'll probably go south. And then I'm looking at some of the wind charts right now, and go out to sea. If I was you, I would be on a bullet train going south and then to the west. Again, just as a precaution, sir, if I was you, I would be getting out of Dodge so fast it'd make people's heads spin, Sheldon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Again, it may not melt down. We pray it doesn't melt down, but you know what's going to happen if that reactor melts down and blow. You understand it's going to explode and shoot radiation into the air. And, I mean, it's literally killed tens of thousands of people with complications in the last 20 years since Chernobyl. I mean, you do not want to be radiated by this, buddy. You think chemtrails, aluminum dioxide is bad? This is nothing compared to a high-powered dose of radiation.
Yeah, for sure. I'm worried they'll even try to cover it up, basically, because, you know,
exactly. It could blow up and they won't even tell you. Exactly. I'm telling you. Study the trade winds right now. Pick a spot and get out of Dodge right now, Sheldon.
All right.
Thank you. And, of course, the media will be like, Alex Jones told Japanese to get out of the fallout zone. Of course, it might melt down and do the China syndrome like Chernobyl. But, again, you need to we recommend you go outside and breathe deeply. And don't take potassium iodate. That's Al-Qaeda as well. I can't handle it anymore. Josh in California, that's in the path of tsunami waves that haven't hit yet. We know. Pardon me? Oh, he just dropped. Again, for those that don't know, some tsunami waves did hit the Pacific island of Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands to be technical, the chain, and they're ordering people in several towns to evacuate in Oregon that are low-lying, close to sea level, and beautiful Pacific Northwest. And quite frankly, the only thing that really matters right now is that they're talking about this reactor melting down. We'll continue to go over that. The temperature's rising as of an hour ago. And they're telling people this. This is ABC, Reuters, you name it. The media will play on people's ignorance like 10 years from now and say, Jones once said a reactor may melt down in Japan. It was made up. There was no reactor. Japan doesn't exist. Like the time ABC News reported Russia had fired an ICBM at us. I ran in and said it on air because it was on ABC News. And then a month later, nobody remembered it, and people said Alex said they fired an ICBM. I didn't say that. ABC News said that. Then they came out and said, oh, it was just a test missile, no big deal. And then China fires a missile off the coast. Even Pentagon officials blew the whistle on that, and they still say it was a chemtrail. And then people call me and say, you claim a missile was fired off the coast. No, I said my guest said that, and people in the Pentagon and the former head of NASA said it was a missile trail. You know, that's how mainstream media spins things. I tell the Rolling Stone that I smoked pot a little but didn't like it, and it turns into Alex then quit smoking pot. Like I was some kind of pothead. But it doesn't matter. Everybody knows this is happening in Japan, and people will probably remember in a year when the media takes it out of context, and they'll probably say that I said Godzilla was real, you know, because I was talking about Japanese archetypes of worrying about disaster because their country's so prone to it. You know, it's kind of like Charlie Sheen. So much of what I talk to him about, he adopts because he likes me. But then I kind of with horror watch it because, folks, when he's joking around about Vatican assassin warlocks, it was all just because people said that we were reptoid Vatican assassin warlocks. And now people really believe we're Vatican assassin reptoid warlocks. But I don't believe Godzilla's real, folks. And Charlie Sheen's joking about Vatican assassin warlocks. And people just can't get it. They just really